So every year we come, and most of the times the weather's really, really bad. Even last year when we came, the forecast said it was going to be the worst rain we'd seen for a while. But when we came, the 3 days was absolutely beautiful. You know, it was the best weather we could have possibly had. I mean, sometimes it rains, a little bit of rain's a good thing because it's really dusty here. So when it rains, it settles it down. But the weather's always good, thank God.
My name is Javed Uddin. I'm from Leicester Jamaat. Jamaat means community, so I belong to the community based in Leicester. I am what they call Naib Nazim. I've been Naib Nazim of this Langar duty at this site for about 6 years. The event to me is basically an opportunity for people to come here to learn about Islam and true Islam, not what's depicted in the media, which everybody sees and hears about, but a sense of belonging to something that we believe, all of us, is the truth. Not to force religion down people's throats like you hear, but for an opportunity for people to come of all faiths to listen to other people speaking in whatever language, and they can then listen to the translations. Everything here is free. We provide accommodation. We provide food. And really, like I say, I do this duty because I feel a sense of fulfillment. It's only 3-4 days of the year, and I give it my heart and soul. I don't care about how much I sleep or the time. It's all about giving for other people.
This is the 50th Jalsa Salana of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in the United Kingdom. And I'm personally participating from Ghana. For me personally, apart from the fact that gatherings like this attract the blessings and mercy of the Almighty, we come from different countries, we meet different people, we interact, we learn from each other, and most importantly, we have the participation of our spiritual leader, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, and we have the opportunity to interact with him personally. To have that interaction, that is what makes it even more special and unique. So for me, that is one of the main reasons why I'm here to participate in this Jalsa.
My name's Pam Moon, and I run an organisation called the Shroud of Turin exhibition, which takes life-size replicas of the Shroud to different venues so that people can get an opportunity to see what the Shroud looks like in its entirety, in its full size. The Shroud points them to the Prophet Isa, the Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, and so therefore he is of great veneration in their faith, and they're prepared to look at it and explore it and the different questions that the Shroud raises. I'm a Christian, so I would believe that the Shroud wrapped Jesus, and I would believe that he was dead and that he rose again, and that in some way, some inexplicable way, the cloth was marked both with his blood from the crucifixion and with his image from the resurrection in some way. For the Ahmadiyyan community, they believe that Jesus didn't die on the cross. They believe that he was on the cross, but that he didn't die, and that a mixture of different substances that were put on his body created the image on the cloth. In some ways, you have to look at the Shroud and make up your own mind what you think it is. There's a whole lot of science, though, that surrounds it. So, for instance, we don't understand how the image is created. It's extraordinary that there's something on Earth that's been subject to so much scientific inquiry, and the answer still remains unknown as to what it is. one of the most amazing things about being here at the Jalsa is that the Ahmadiyyan community have invited Barry Schwartz, who's a Jew, to speak to them about Jesus. And to me that is just extraordinary. But in a way it's what the Shroud tells. It tells the story of a man who's been crucified, who didn't retaliate, who turned the other cheek, who didn't fight, and I think it points us to a different kind of a humanity where we can choose to love one another, respect one another, and not kill each other for our faith.
My name is Barry Schwartz. I was the official documenting photographer of the Shroud of Turin research project, the team that performed the first in-depth scientific examination of the cloth in its history, and no one's done it since, so it's the only scientific examination. 20 years after our examination, I took all the materials that I'd collected, all the papers and images and everything, and created the first website on the Shroud of Turin, shroud.com. We are now almost 21 years old. We're the largest, oldest website on the subject, the most in-depth. One of the things that perhaps caused the Ahmadiyya Muslims to invite me to speak on the Shroud is the fact that they understood that I'm Jewish. And so I don't have an emotional attachment to the subject matter, and I think they felt that I could come here and speak candidly and openly without leaning in any particular direction as far as the Shroud and its significance. One of the interesting things is the Ahmadiyya Muslims accept that Jesus was on the cross. They accept that he was removed from the cross, and they believe that he survived the crucifixion, where Christians believe he did not and was resurrected. So, being a Jew, my faith does not really hinge on that subject, so I'm sort of neutral on that, and it doesn't impact my beliefs. I was amazed to be invited last year to come to a Muslim convention, and I even said this last year that the motto of the Ahmadiyya Muslims is love for all, hatred for none, and they invited a Jewish man to discuss a Christian relic at a Muslim convention. Now that's living your faith. And I felt that that was a great opportunity for me to open a dialogue, not to look at the differences, because there are going to be differences, but to find the things that we have in common. And I consider the Ahmadiyya Muslims my brothers and sisters. This is my second time here, and I look forward to coming back again.
The Jalsa for me, its meaning is kind of transcendent, and it also evolves in the sense that the meaning really of the Jalsa is to establish the true teachings of Islam. My name is Adam Walker, and I'm a member of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. I live here in the UK, in the north of England, in the beautiful Yorkshire Dales. At the moment, the challenges that we face are different to the challenges 20 or 30 years ago. So today, extremism is a very strong problem and challenge that the whole world faces. So the community in events like this is able to really reaffirm, particularly through the Pledge of Allegiance on the Sunday, which is a magnificent event, the commitment to peace and to establishing peace that Ahmadiyya Muslims have around the world, and also their commitment to say to people who mean to harm others that the way forward, according to the teachings of Islam, according to the example of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of God be upon him, is to save lives, not to take lives away, to help people, not to harm people, to provide people, not to take away from people, and most of all to be productive citizens, irrespective of status or wealth or gender. We often see in the news that the Islam that's practiced today, generally speaking, particularly in countries like Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, for example, these are the ones that people often reference, is a version of Islam that's medieval. The reality is it isn't a version of Islam that's medieval. The concept we have in our minds of what medieval means actually is 2016 Islam. We find in medieval Islam, and particularly in early Islam, people that were far more open-minded, people who were far more progressive. Doesn't mean that it was perfect or that no one did anything that was wrong, but people certainly had a much more open mind than today. Therefore, the problem today is that people's minds are very closed, and that's largely due to either cultural problems that have seeped into religion. I think that's true to all religions, or to strong dogma, strong theology, which has entered into Islam or been established over other doctrine in order to say that this is what the right Islam is, and if you want to be part of the club, then this is the Islam that you need to follow. And often it's a politicized Islam, an Islam that seeks to establish power for the elite at the expense of the masses. Violence sells and hate sells. Love doesn't sell. I mean, unless it's in a Hollywood film, it doesn't sell. When it's real life compassion and love from one human to another human, irrespective of religion, we're talking about Islam here in the Ahmadi Muslim community, but I'd say that it's true to all manifestations of kindness that we see around the world that are related to religion or otherwise. They don't get reported as they should do. Unless we can push back towards humanity, we will find ourselves moving in that kind of destructive direction. And with the modern capabilities that different world powers have, no one knows where that would lead to and what harm it might cause. So it is imperative for everyone to push back. At an event like this with 30,000 people, all pledging allegiance to the Caliph, a worldwide head of the community, is a big statement in not just today but in British history of people that are saying we want peace. And that's really what we're here for, and that we will embrace anyone who wants peace, and that we will try to compel people that don't want peace with our tongues and with the goodness of our hearts to see a better way.
उर्दू बोलने वालों के लिए दोबारा मैं बैत उर्दू में दोहराऊंगा। अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाहु वहदहु ला शरीक लहु व अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदन अब्दुहु वफा का ताल्लुक़ रखूँगा और बहैसियत खलीफतुल मसीह आपकी तमाम मारूफ हिदायत पर अमल करने की कोशिश करूँगा। अस्तग़फिरुल्लाह रब्बी मिन कुल्लि ज़ंबिन व अतूबु इलैह। अस्तग़फिरुल्लाह रब्बी मिन कुल्लि ज़ंबिन व अतूबु इलैह। अस्तग़फिरुल्लाह रब्बी मिन कुल्लि ज़ंबिन व अतूबु इलैह। रब्बी इन्नी ज़लमतु नफ़्सी, मैं अपने गुनाहों का इकरार करता हूँ, तू मेरे गुनाह बख्श, कि तेरे सिवा कोई बख्शने वाला नहीं।
We say, love for all, hatred for none. Islam, the word itself means peace, and as I said, we preach about compassion to our fellow human beings regardless of race, religion, creed or background.
किब्रो